The phone screen cracks a little more when she drops it. 2:17 a.m. The apartment smells like sour milk and fear. Tessa Rose's hands won't stop shaking as she picks up the phone again, squinting at the message she just sent through the spiderweb glass. "Please, I just need $23 to buy baby formula. I'll pay you back when I get my next shift. I'm sorry for asking." No punctuation, no emoji, just raw desperation typed with trembling thumbs while her 6-month-old son Micah screams in the background. Hungry and angry and too young to understand why his mother keeps crying. She meant to text Troy, her ex, the man who promised he'd help sometimes, who swore he'd send money for the baby even after he walked out 3 months ago. But Troy changed his number 2 weeks back without telling her, and now this message, this humiliating, soul-crushing plea, just got sent to whatever stranger inherited his old digits. Tessa stares at the screen, waiting for the message to fail, to bounce back, to disappear into the void where mistakes go to die. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. It doesn't bounce back. Instead, 3 dots appear. Someone's typing. Her breath catches. The room tilts. Micah's crying fades into background static as those 3 dots pulse on the screen like a heartbeat, like a threat, like something she can't take back. The reply comes through. Who is this? 2 words. Cold. Direct. The kind of question that doesn't want excuses. Tessa's stomach drops. She types fast, fingers slipping on the cracked screen. "Oh my God, wrong number. I'm sorry. Please ignore that." She hits send and immediately powers down the phone, like shutting it off will somehow erase what just happened. Like the stranger on the other end will just forget, move on, go back to sleep. But across the city, in a penthouse office where the skyline glitters through floor-to-ceiling windows, Yuri Hahn doesn't forget. He sits alone at his desk, a glass of whiskey untouched beside his laptop. The message glows on his phone screen. This random, desperate plea from a number he doesn't recognize. His thumb hovers over the delete button. He should delete it. He deletes everything that doesn't matter. That's how you survive in his world. That's how you stay sharp. But something stops him. The message doesn't sound like a scam. Scammers use proper grammar, fake urgency, calculated manipulation. This message sounds like someone broke, someone real, someone who didn't mean to reach out to him at all. Yuri reads it again. "Please, I just need $23 to buy baby formula." $23. Not 1,000, not 10,000, just enough to feed a baby for a few days. He leans back in his chair, the leather creaking under his weight. His neck tattoo, a black dragon coiled around ink-dark clouds, shifts as he tilts his head, studying the screen like it's a puzzle he didn't ask to solve. People don't accidentally text him. His number isn't listed. It's not saved in random contacts. The only people who have it are the ones who need to. His men, his business partners, the people who owe him money or their lives. So how did this woman get it? Yuri types a response before he can talk himself out of it. Do you really need formula? He hits send, then immediately regrets it. This isn't his problem. He's not a charity. He's not a savior. He's the man people cross the street to avoid. The name whispered in back rooms and police stations. The quiet force that runs half of Chicago's underground economy without ever making headlines. But the phone buzzes again. A photo comes through. It's a pharmacy receipt. $23.48. Timestamp from 6 hours ago. The item, infant formula, rejected at checkout. Insufficient funds. Then another photo. A baby, maybe 6 months old, sleeping on a bare mattress beside an empty formula can. The baby's cheeks are hollow. His onesie is stained. The room behind him is dim, cramped, the kind of place people end up when every other option runs out. Yuri stares at the photos for a long time. His whiskey sits forgotten. The city lights blur into streaks of gold and red outside his window. Somewhere in his chest, in the place he thought he'd buried years ago, something shifts. He doesn't know this woman, doesn't owe her anything. But for the first time in 5 years, since the night his fiancée burned alive in a car meant for him, Yuri Hahn feels something that isn't anger or emptiness. He feels curiosity. And curiosity, in his world, is dangerous. Would you ignore a desperate message from a stranger, or would you respond? Drop your answer in the comments, because what he does next will change 2 lives forever. The chrome grill smells like burnt coffee and broken dreams. Tessa wipes down the same table for the 3rd time, her reflection warped in the chrome napkin dispenser. 6:47 a.m. Another double shift. Another 16 hours on her feet for tips that barely cover bus fare and diapers. Her uniform, a faded red polo shirt and black pants, hangs loose on her frame. She's lost weight. Can't remember the last time she ate something that wasn't leftovers from the kitchen. Cold fries and half-eaten toast the cooks let her take home. The diner sits near the river, tucked between a liquor store and a laundromat. The kind of place truckers stop at on their way through Chicago, but never remember the name of. Neon sign out front flickers, CHRMEGILL. The missing letters giving up years ago. Tessa moves on autopilot. Boul coffee. Take orders. Smile even when her feet scream and her back throbs, and all she wants to do is collapse. The other waitress, Keisha, works the opposite side of the room, chewing gum and scrolling her phone between customers. "You look like death," Keisha says, not looking up. "Thanks. I'm serious, Tess. When's the last time you slept?" Tessa doesn't answer. Sleep is a luxury she can't afford. Not when Micah wakes up every 2 hours. Not when the rent is 3 weeks late. Not when the eviction notice sits folded in her apron pocket like a ticking bomb. Her phone buzzes. She freezes, one hand gripping the coffee pot, the other reaching instinctively for her pocket. She hasn't turned the phone back on since last night. Hasn't wanted to see if the stranger responded, if he sent something worse than silence, mockery, anger, screenshots to shame her online. But she needs her phone on. What if the babysitter calls? What if something happens to Micah? Tessa pulls out the phone, hands shaking, and powers it on. The screen lights up. One new message. Her heart hammers as she opens it. "Do you really need formula?" She reads it twice, 3 times. The words don't make sense. Why would a stranger ask that? Why would anyone care? Before she can second-guess herself, she opens her photo gallery. Finds a pharmacy receipt she took yesterday when her card got declined. Sends it. Then sends the photo of Micah sleeping beside the empty formula can. The one she took this morning when the guilt got too heavy and she needed proof she wasn't a terrible mother, just a broke one. She hits send before she can stop herself. Then she waits. The minutes stretch. A trucker orders eggs and bacon. An old man nurses black coffee in the corner booth. The jukebox plays something low and sad, a blues song about leaving and never coming back. Tessa's phone stays silent. She tells herself it's over. The stranger saw the photos and decided she was crazy or scamming or not worth the trouble. She tells herself it's better this way. She doesn't need pity. She doesn't need help from someone she doesn't know. But when her shift ends at midnight, when she finally drags herself up the narrow stairs to her apartment above the liquor store, the phone buzzes again. One new message. "What's your address?" Tessa stares at the screen, her pulse spiking. This is how people get killed. This is how women disappear. You don't give your address to strangers. You don't trust messages in the middle of the night. But Micah is crying in the crib. The formula can is still empty. And desperation makes you do things fear would never allow. She types her address, hits send. Then she locks the door, checks the locks twice, and sits on the floor with her back against the wall, waiting for something terrible to happen. She just gave her address to a stranger. What happens next will either save her or destroy everything she has left. Yuri Han doesn't sleep. He sits at his desk until dawn, the city waking up in layers below him. Delivery trucks rumbling, street cleaners hissing, the early morning rush of people who work 3 jobs just to survive. He used to be one of them. A long time ago, before the money, before the power, before his name became something people feared. Now he's the man behind the glass. Untouchable, unreachable, alone. His office is cold, minimalist. Black leather furniture, steel accents, a single painting on the wall. A Korean landscape, mountains wrapped in fog. Nothing personal, nothing that could be used against him. His phone sits on the desk, the woman's address glowing on the screen. He shouldn't have asked for it. He shouldn't care. But something about that photo, the baby, the empty formula can, the bare mattress, won't leave his head. Yuri opens his laptop, types the address into a database only his people can access. The results load in seconds. Tessa Rowe, 24, single mother, former nursing student, dropped out 2 years ago. No criminal record, no debt beyond medical bills and student loans. Works at the Chrome Grill, night shifts, barely making minimum wage. He pulls up her employment records. She's worked there for 8 months. Never missed a shift. Never called in sick. The kind of person who shows up even when life is falling apart. Yuri closes the laptop. His assistant, Jiho, enters the office without knocking, carrying a tablet and a cup of coffee Yuri won't drink. Jiho is efficient, loyal, knows when to speak and when to disappear. Morning meeting in an hour, Jiho says. The shipment from Busan cleared customs. No issues. Yuri nods, barely listening. Jiho hesitates. You want to pull the car around? Not yet. Yuri stands, adjusts his suit jacket. I need you to do something first. Jiho raises an eyebrow. Sir. Yuri writes an address on a slip of paper, hands it over. Send someone to this location. Have them deliver groceries. Formula, diapers, whatever 6-month-old needs. Make it anonymous. No names, no contact. Jiho glances at the paper, then back at Yuri. Is this a new client? No. Then, just do it. Jiho knows better than to ask questions. He pockets the paper and leaves without another word. Yuri walks to the window, hands in his pockets, staring down at the city. He shouldn't be doing this. It's messy, personal, the kind of thing that creates loose ends. But he can't shake the image of that baby. Can't stop thinking about the woman who texted the wrong number and accidentally asked the most dangerous man in Chicago for help. His phone buzzes. A message from one of his contacts downtown. Kwan's crew is moving in on the docks. They're asking questions about your operations. Daejin Kwan, a rival syndicate leader, ambitious and reckless. The kind of man who thinks violence is strategy. Yuri's been watching him for months, waiting for the right moment to shut him down. But that's a problem for later. Right now, Yuri is thinking about a woman he's never met, a baby he's never seen, and a text message that shouldn't have mattered. He tells himself it's just curiosity, a one-time thing. He'll send the supplies, make sure the kid is fed, and move on. But deep down, in the part of him that still remembers what it's like to be powerless, Yuri knows this isn't over. He just made a decision that will pull him into her world, and her into his. And in Chicago, once the Mafia gets involved, nothing stays simple. The black Bentley pulls up outside the Chrome Grill at 11:32 a.m. Every head in the diner turns. Tessa is refilling a trucker's coffee when the door opens and silence falls like a hammer. The bell above the entrance rings once, then stops. Even the jukebox seems to hold its breath. 2 men in black suits enter first. They don't speak, don't smile. Just scan the room with eyes that have seen too much and forgotten nothing. One of them has a scar running from his temple to his jaw. The other has hands the size of dinner plates. Then Yuri Han walks in. He's wearing all black, suit, shirt, tie, like he stepped out of a funeral or a boardroom meeting where someone's career just died. His presence fills the room. Not loud, not aggressive, just undeniable. The kind of energy that makes people stop chewing, stop talking, stop breathing. The cook drops his spatula. It clatters against the grill. Keisha whispers something under her breath that sounds like a prayer. And Tessa just stands there, coffee pot trembling in her hand, watching this man walk toward her section like he owns the floor he's stepping on. He sits at the corner booth, doesn't look at the menu, doesn't look at anyone except her. The bodyguards take positions near the door and the kitchen. Strategic, efficient, like they've done this 1,000 times. Tessa's legs won't move. Her mouth is dry. She knows. She knows. This is connected to last night, to the text, to the address she never should have given. Keisha nudges her hard. Girl, go. Tessa forces herself forward, every step feeling like walking underwater. She reaches the table, grips the coffee pot tighter to stop her hand from shaking. Coffee. Her voice cracks. Yuri looks up at her. His eyes are dark, unreadable, the kind of eyes that have seen people beg and bleed and break. But there's no cruelty in them, no threat, just quiet assessment. Coffee, he says. Black. She pours, and somehow doesn't spill. The cup fills. Steam rises. The smell of burnt beans and old grease hangs between them. Yuri waits until she sets the pot down. Then, in a voice so low only she can hear, he says, "You texted me last night." Tessa's blood turns to ice. She opens her mouth, closes it. Her brain is screaming run, but her feet won't obey. She swallows hard. "I'm sorry, sir. That was an accident. I didn't mean to bother you. Please, I swear I didn't know." "Relax." Yuri's voice is calm, almost gentle. "You asked for baby formula. Did you get it?" Tessa blinks. Tears burn behind her eyes. She shakes her head. Yuri reaches into his jacket. Tessa flinches, but what he pulls out isn't a weapon. It's an envelope. Crisp, white, unsealed. He places it on the table between them. "Open it." "I can't." "Open it." Her hands shake as she picks up the envelope. Inside is cash. More cash than she's ever seen in her life. $100 bills, thick and clean, stacked so tightly they barely fit. Tessa's knees buckle. She grabs the edge of the table to stay upright. "I can't take this." Her voice is barely a whisper. Yuri leans back, sipping his coffee like they're discussing the weather. "It's not charity." "Then what is it?" His eyes meet hers. Cold, steady, terrifying in their calm. "Think of it as interest," he says. "On something I might need later." The words hang in the air like smoke, like a contract signed in blood. Tessa wants to ask what he means, wants to shove the money back across the table and run. But Micah's face flashes in her mind, hungry, crying, needing her to be brave even when she's terrified. She takes the envelope. Yuri nods once, then stands. The bodyguards move toward the door. The entire diner watches in frozen silence as the three men leave, the Bentley pulling away into traffic like a shark disappearing beneath dark water. Tessa stands there, clutching the envelope, her heart pounding so hard she thinks it might crack her ribs. Keisha rushes over. "Girl, what the hell was that?" Tessa doesn't answer. Can't answer, because she just took money from a man whose eyes promise protection and danger in equal measure. And somewhere deep in her gut, she knows this isn't over. He said he might need something later. What could a man like that possibly need from a woman like her? 3 weeks pass like holding your breath underwater. Tessa uses the money carefully. Formula, diapers, the overdue rent that was about to put her and Micah on the street. She doesn't touch the rest. Keeps it hidden in a coffee can under the sink, terrified that someone will find it, that the police will knock on her door, that the man in black will come back to collect whatever debt she just signed up for. But nothing happens. The days blur together. Work, home, feed Micah, sleep 2 hours, work again. The diner smells the same. The customers are the same. Everything is the same except for the envelope that changed everything. Then, one Thursday night, a man stumbles into the Chrome Grill at 1:43 a.m. Drunk, angry, eyes wild with something worse than alcohol. Tessa recognizes him. Devin something. He used to come in once a week, always polite, always tipped decent. But that was months ago. Now he looks like a ghost, skin gray, clothes hanging off a frame that's lost too much weight too fast. He weaves between tables, knocking into chairs. Keisha moves toward the back. The cook reaches for something under the counter. Devin's eyes lock on Tessa. "You." His voice is slurred, venomous. "You work for him, don't you?" Tessa freezes. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Don't lie to me." Devin lunges forward, grabs her by the wrist, yanks her toward him. Pain shoots up her arm. "You tell that Korean bastard I don't owe him anything. You hear me? Nothing. Let go." He can't just. Devin slams her against the counter. Her ribs scream. "Take everything I have and expect me to." The door explodes open. Tires screeching outside. Footsteps heavy and fast. Yuri's bodyguard, the one with the scar, is inside before Devin can finish his sentence. He moves like liquid violence, one hand locking Devin's arm, twisting it back until bone grinds against bone. Devin howls. The bodyguard doesn't speak, just applies pressure until Devin drops to his knees, face pressed against the floor tiles. Then Yuri walks in. The temperature in the room drops. He's wearing the same black suit, same expressionless mask, but there's something different now. Something colder, more final. He looks at Devin like he's already decided how this ends. Touch her again, Yuri says, voice quiet as a blade sliding from a sheath, and you'll leave here in a bag. Devin laughs. A broken, desperate sound. You think you scare me? You think. The bodyguard hand moves. There's a sound like wetwood snapping. Devin screams. His arm hangs at an impossible angle. Tessa clamps a hand over her mouth while rising in her throat. The cook has disappeared into the back. Keisha is frozen behind a register. The two other customers in the diner stare at their plates like if they don't look, it isn't happening. Yuri steps closer to Devin, crouches down, speaks so softly Tessa barely hears him. You borrowed money. You didn't pay. Those are the rules. But coming after someone under my protection, Yuri's voice turns to ice. That's how you die. He stands, straightens his jacket, and turns to Tessa. His expression softens. Just a fraction. Just enough to make her chest tighten. Are you hurt? Tessa shakes her head, even though her wrist is throbbing, even though her hands won't stop shaking. Yuri nods to his bodyguard. Take him. They drag Devin out. His screams fade into the night. A dark SUV pulls away, taillights disappearing around the corner. The diner is silent except for the hum of the refrigerator and Tessa's ragged breathing. Yuri walks to the door, then pauses. Looks back at her. Go home. Lock your door. Forget what you saw. Then he's gone. Tessa slides down the counter until she's sitting on the floor, knees pulled to her chest, staring at the blood smeared across the tiles where Devin's arm was broken. Keisha finally moves, kneeling beside her. You okay? Tessa doesn't answer. Can't answer. Because the man who just saved her is the same man who just shattered someone's bones without blinking. And for the first time in her life, she doesn't know if she should be grateful or terrified. He said she was under his protection. But protection from what? And what price will she pay for safety from the most dangerous man in Chicago? The eviction notice is gone. Tessa finds the new lease agreement slipped under her door on a Tuesday morning. Same apartment. Rent paid in full for 6 months, signed by a property management company she's never heard of. No explanation. No return address. Just her name typed across official paperwork that smells like expensive ink and invisible hands. She stands in her kitchen, Micah babbling in his high chair, staring at the document like it might explode. 3 days ago, she was 2 weeks from being homeless. Now she has half a year of breathing room, and she knows exactly who's responsible. Her phone buzzes. Unknown number. Don't ask questions. Just accept it. Tessa deletes the message immediately, but her hands are shaking. At work, Keisha notices the new shoes Tessa's wearing. Cheap Target sneakers, but new, without holes in the soles. You hit the lottery or something? Just got lucky, Tessa lies. But luck doesn't explain the hospital bill that vanishes from her mailbox. Luck doesn't explain the anonymous grocery delivery that shows up every Thursday. Formula, diapers, baby food, things she never ordered but desperately needs. Someone is watching her, helping her, moving through her life like a shadow that fixes things before they break. And she knows it's him. 2 weeks later, she spots the car. Black sedan, tinted windows, parked across the street from the Chrome Grill during her night shifts. Different car each time, but always there. Always watching. She should be terrified. Should call the police. Should run. But when a drunk tries to grab her in the parking lot after closing, the car door opens before she can scream. One of Yuri's men steps out. Not the scarred one. Someone new, quieter, and the drunk suddenly remembers he has somewhere else to be. The bodyguard doesn't speak to Tessa. Just nods once and gets back in the car. She walks to her bus stop, heart pounding, mind racing. Protection, he called it. But it feels like something else. Something heavier. Like she's being woven into a net she can't see, threads tightening with every anonymous gift, every shadow that keeps her safe. Tessa sits on the bus, watching the city blur past, and realizes she hasn't seen Yuri since the night Devin's arm broke on the diner floor. But she feels him everywhere. In the rent she didn't pay, the bills that disappear, the men who watch from cars she's not supposed to notice. He's inside her life now, rearranging things she can't control, and the strangest part is, she's starting to depend on it, starting to expect it, starting to wonder what happens when he stops. He's protecting her from the shadows, But who's protecting her from him? And what will he ask for in return when the debt finally comes due? The knock comes at 3:08 a.m. Tessa jolts awake, heart slamming against her ribs. Micah is asleep in his crib. The apartment is dark except for the street light bleeding through the blinds. Another knock. Harder. Urgent. She grabs the baseball bat she keeps by the bed, a thrift store find, aluminum and dented, and moves toward the door. Her phone is charging across the room. No time to grab it. No time to think. She looks through the peephole. Yuri Han stands in the hallway, soaked to the bone. His suit jacket is gone. His white shirt is torn at the shoulder. And there's blood, dark and wet, spreading across his left side. Tessa's breath stops. She shouldn't open the door. Every instinct screams at her to call 911, to stay behind the lock, to let someone else deal with whatever nightmare just showed up on her doorstep. But his eyes, those cold, dangerous eyes, look different now. Tired, human, like he's holding himself upright through sheer will and nothing else. Tessa unlocks the door. Yuri stumbles inside, catching himself against the wall. Rain drips from his hair onto her floor. The smell of copper and expensive cologne fills the tiny apartment. "You're bleeding," she whispers. Hospitals ask questions. His voice is rough, strained. Tessa closes the door, locks it, and for a moment just stands there, bat still in her hand, staring at the most powerful man she's ever met leaning against her peeling wallpaper like he might collapse. "Sit," she finally says. He moves to the couch, slow, careful, like every step costs him. Sits down heavily. His hand presses against his side, blood seeping between his fingers. Tessa drops the bat and runs to the bathroom. Grabs towels, the first aid kit she bought when Micah started crawling, a bottle of rubbing alcohol she's pretty sure is expired. When she comes back, Yuri has his eyes closed, breathing measured and deliberate. "Take off your shirt." He opens his eyes, almost smiles. "You should be scared of me." "I am." Tessa kneels in front of him, hands steadier than she expected. "Shirt, now." He unbuttons it slowly, wincing with each movement. The shirt falls away, revealing a body marked by violence. Old scars, new bruises, and a fresh wound across his ribs that's still bleeding. Tessa wets a towel, presses it against the cut. Yuri hisses but doesn't pull away. "What happened?" "Business disagreement." "That's a knife wound." Observant. They fall into silence. Rain drums against the window. Somewhere in the building, a dog barks. Micah shifts in his crib, but doesn't wake. Tessa cleans the wound carefully, her hands moving with the muscle memory of nursing classes she never finished. The cut is deep but clean. No stitches needed if he's lucky. If infection doesn't set in, if he doesn't bleed out on her couch. "Why did you come here?" she asks quietly. Yuri opens his eyes, looks at her, really looks at her. Not the way men usually do, not hungry or calculating, just tired and honest. "I don't know." It's the first time he sounded uncertain. The first time the mask has cracked enough to show the person underneath. Tessa finishes bandaging the wound, her fingers brushing against his skin. He doesn't flinch, doesn't move, just watches her like he's trying to memorize something he's afraid of losing. "You should rest," she says. "I should leave. You'll pass out before you reach the stairs." Yuri almost laughs. "You offering me your couch? I'm offering you basic human decency. Don't make me regret it." For the first time since she met him, Yuri Han smiles. A real smile, small and fleeting, but real. "You're braver than you think." "I'm terrified," Tessa admits. "But you saved my life. Guess that means I owe you this much." The words hang between them. A transaction, a balance. Two broken people in a broken apartment at 3 in the morning. The space between danger and trust growing thinner with every second. Tessa stands, grabs a blanket from the closet, tosses it to him. "Sleep. I'll check on you in a few hours." She walks toward her bedroom, exhausted and wired, and try not to think about what it means that a man like him came to her when he was bleeding. "Tessa." She stops, turns. Yuri's eyes are already closing, his voice barely above a whisper. "Thank you." 2 words. Simple, honest, more dangerous than anything else he's ever said to her. Because gratitude creates connection, And connection, in their world, is the most fragile and explosive thing there is. That night, the most dangerous man in Chicago fell asleep on a poor waitress's couch. And somewhere in the dark, the balance of power between them shifted in ways neither of them could control. Tessa wakes to silence. The kind of silence that screams wrong before your brain catches up to why. She sits up fast, heart already racing. Checks her phone, 7:23 a.m. She overslept. The apartment feels too still, too empty. She stumbles out of bed, crosses the living room. The couch is empty. Yuri is gone. The bloodstained towels are folded neatly on the coffee table beside a single white envelope. Tessa ignores the envelope and walks toward Micah's room. The door is open. The crib is empty. Her world stops. No air, no sound, just the crushing, suffocating realization that her baby is gone. Micah, her voice cracks, barely a whisper. She runs to the bathroom. Empty. The kitchen. Empty. Back to the bedroom, checking under the bed. In the closet, places a 6-month-old can't possibly be, but desperation makes you irrational. Micah, her scream tears through the apartment. Neighbors will hear. Someone will call the cops. She doesn't care. She grabs her phone with shaking hands, drops it, picks it up again. Tries to dial 911, but her fingers won't work right. Then she sees it. A piece of paper on the kitchen counter, folded once, her name written across the front in handwriting that's too neat, too calculated. Tessa unfolds it. Tell your boss to come alone if he wants the kid back. Pier 19. Midnight. No cops. No crew. Or the baby learns to swim the hard way. DK. The paper slips from her fingers. She can't breathe. Can't think. The room tilts sideways, and she has to grab the counter to stay upright. They took her baby. Someone broke into her apartment while she was sleeping and stole her child. And it's because of him. Because of Yuri. Because she accepted his money, his protection, his presence in her life, and now Micah is paying the price. Tessa runs to the couch, grabs the envelope Yuri left behind, rips it open. Inside is a phone. Not hers. A burner. Plain black. One contact saved. E. Her hands shake so badly she almost drops it. She hits call. It rings once. Tessa. Yuri's voice is calm, awake, like he's been expecting this. They took him. She's crying now, words coming out in broken gasps. Someone broke in and they took Micah. There's a note. They want you. Pier 19. Midnight. They. Her voice breaks completely. Please. Please, I don't care what this costs. Just bring him back. Silence on the other end. Long enough that Tessa thinks the call dropped. Then Yuri speaks, and his voice is colder than she's ever heard it. I'll handle it. What does that mean? I'm calling the police. No police. He's my son, and if you call the cops, he's dead. Yuri's tone doesn't change, doesn't soften, just states a fact. The man who took him is named Dae-Jin Kwon. He runs a crew out of the docks. He's not bluffing. You call 911. Micah drowns before the first squad car arrives. Tessa slides down the wall, phone pressed to her ear, sobbing so hard she can barely breathe. I can't lose him. I can't. You won't. Yuri's voice shifts. Still controlled, but something burns underneath. Stay in your apartment. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone except me. Understand. What are you going to do? Why should I have done weeks ago? The line goes dead. Tessa sits on the floor of her kitchen, clutching a phone that's not hers, staring at the note that turned her life into a nightmare. Somewhere across the city, her baby is in the hands of a man who thinks 6-month-olds make good leverage. And the only person who can save him is the same person who put him in danger in the first place. The clock on the stove reads 7:41 a.m. 16 hours until midnight. 16 hours until she finds out if kindness and protection were worth the cost. Her baby is gone. The Mafia boss who saved her once now has to save her son. But what happens at Pier 19 will change everything. And not everyone is walking away. Pier 19 smells like rust and old fish guts. The rain hasn't stopped. It hammers down on the metal shipping containers stacked like a graveyard of commerce, turning the concrete into black mirrors that reflect nothing but darkness. Yuri Han arrives at 11:47 p.m. Alone. No crew, no backup, just him, a long black coat over his suit, and a gun tucked against his spine that he's hoping he won't need to use near a baby. He walks between the containers, boots splashing through puddles, the sound echoing off metal walls. Somewhere in the distance, a foghorn moans. Sirens wail on the other side of the city, too far away to matter. At the center of the pier, under a single flickering light, Dae-jin Kwon waits. He's younger than Yuri. Mid-30s, sharp suit, slick back hair, the kind of guy who watched too many gangster movies and thought style mattered more than strategy. Behind him stand four men, muscle-armed, ready. And in Kwon's arms, wrapped in a blanket, is Micah. The baby isn't crying, just staring around with wide, confused eyes, too young to understand the danger he's in. Yuri stops 20 feet away. His face shows nothing. No fear, no anger, just cold calculation. Kwon, the great Yuri Han. Kwon grins, bouncing Micah slightly like he's holding a prop. I was starting to think you wouldn't show. Thought maybe you'd send your boys, break the rules. But here you are, solo, all because of some broke waitress and her bastard kid. Yuri doesn't react. What do you want? What do I want? Kwon laughs. I want you to admit you're weak. I want everyone to know that the untouchable Yuri Han got soft over a woman. That you're not a king anymore. You're just a man who can be hurt. You made your point. Let the kid go. Why would I do that? Kwon's smile widens. See, I've been watching you. Notice you getting sloppy. Visiting diners. Paying rent for nobodies. Protecting some single mom like you're her guardian angel. He shifts Micah higher. The baby whimpers. You think power is about fear, but it's not. It's about finding weaknesses. And you, my friend, just showed me yours. Yuri's hand twitches toward his back. Kwon's men raise their weapons. Easy, Kwon warns. One wrong move, and the kid takes a swim. You know these waters? 40 degrees. Body goes numb in 3 minutes. Dead in 5. The rain gets heavier. Water streams down Yuri's face. His coat is soaked through. He doesn't move. You want to take over my territory, Yuri says quietly. That's what this is about. You think kidnapping a baby makes you powerful enough to challenge me. I think it makes you human, and humans break. Yuri takes a step forward. Kwon's men tense. You're right, Yuri says. I got weak. Started caring about things I shouldn't. Forgot that in this world, caring gets you killed. Another step. But you made a mistake, Kwon. Yeah? What's that? You thought showing weakness was the same as being weak. The words hang for half a second. Then Yuri moves. Faster than anyone expected. His hand doesn't go for the gun. It goes for the knife in his coat pocket. The same blade that's ended arguments before they became wars. Kwon barely has time to register what's happening before Yuri is on him. One hand locks around Kwon's wrist, twisting hard enough that bones grind. The other drives the knife up under his ribs, precise and silent. Kwon's eyes go wide. He drops Micah. Yuri catches the baby with his free arm before the child hits the ground, cradling him against his chest even as Kwon crumples to his knees. The 4 bodyguards move, but not toward Yuri. They lower their weapons. Because they're not Kwon's men. They're Yuri's. Have been for months. Planted inside Kwon's crew, waiting for exactly this moment. Kwon looks up at Yuri, blood bubbling at his lips. You came alone? No, Yuri says quietly. I came prepared. He pulls the knife free. Kwon collapses face first into a puddle, the water around him turning dark. Yuri looks at his men. Clean this up. No witnesses. No evidence. Make it look like he left town. They nod and get to work. Yuri turns away, holding Micah close, the baby's tiny hand gripping his wet collar. The rain washes the blood from his hands, from his coat, from everything except his conscience. He walks back through the shipping containers, footsteps echoing in the empty night. Sirens still wail somewhere far away. The city keeps breathing like nothing happened. By the time the sun rises, Dae-jin Kwon will be a ghost. His crew scattered or absorbed. His territory folded into Yuri's empire like it was always meant to be. And no one will ever know what happened at Pier 19 except the men who were there and the baby who was too young to remember. Justice doesn't roar. Sometimes it's just rain, silence, and a dangerous man walking away with a child in his arms. But the cost of that justice is written in blood, and some debts can never be repaid. The knock comes at 4:32 a.m. Tessa hasn't slept, hasn't eaten, just sat on the couch staring at the door, the burner phone clutched in her hand, every second stretching into forever. She runs to the door, looks through the peephole. Yuri stands there, soaked and exhausted, holding Micah wrapped in a dry blanket. Tessa rips the door open. Micah is asleep, breathing steady, unharmed. She takes him from Yuri's arms, tears streaming down her face, holding her son so tight she's afraid she'll break him but can't let go. He's okay. Her voice is wrecked. He's okay. Tessa sinks to the floor, rocking Micah, sobbing into his hair. Yuri stands in the doorway, watching, saying nothing. When she finally looks up, her eyes are red but clear. What did you do? What needed to be done? She knows what that means. Knows blood was spilled somewhere in the rain-soaked dark. Knows her son is alive because someone else isn't. And she knows she should feel guilty, should feel horror, should feel anything except this overwhelming, crushing relief. Thank you, she whispers. Yuri nods once, then turns to leave. Wait, he stops. Tessa stands, still holding Micah, and walks toward him. She doesn't know what to say, doesn't have words for what just happened, for what he did, for what it means that the most dangerous man in Chicago killed someone to save her child. So she just says the only truth that matters. I don't know how to repay this. You already did. Yuri's voice is soft, tired, human. You opened your door when I was bleeding. You didn't have to. You were scared, but you let me in anyway. He looks at Micah, something unreadable crossing his face. That's worth more than you know. He leaves before she can respond, disappears down the stairs into the early morning dark. Tessa closes the door, locks it, holds Micah close, and finally lets herself breathe. 3 weeks pass. Tessa's phone, the burner, stays silent. No messages, no calls, just a contact labeled Y that never lights up again. But things keep happening. Small things, invisible things. The hospital sends a letter saying Micah's medical debt was paid in full by an anonymous donor. Her car, which broke down 2 months ago, gets fixed overnight. Keys left in her mailbox with no invoice. The diner gets a new owner, and suddenly all the staff get raises and health insurance. Tessa knows who's behind it, knows he's still watching from somewhere in the shadows, making sure she's safe without ever showing his face again. Then, on a Tuesday morning while she's making coffee, her phone buzzes. Not the burner, her real phone, unknown number. She opens the message. You asked for $23 once. I owed you more than that. You saved me too. No signature, no follow-up, just those words. Tessa reads the message 3 times, then looks at Micah, playing with blocks on the floor, healthy and happy and alive. She types a response. Thank you for everything. Hit send. The message delivers. No reply comes. She doesn't expect one, because some stories don't end with declarations or reunions. They end with silence and understanding, with 2 people from opposite worlds who collided by accident and walked away changed. Somewhere in Chicago, in an office high above the city lights, Yuri Hahn sits alone. His phone buzzes. He reads her message. For the first time in years, he smiles, then deletes the conversation, closes his phone, and goes back to being the man the world expects, cold, dangerous, untouchable. But in the quiet space behind his walls, he remembers a woman who texted the wrong number and reminded him what it felt like to protect something pure. And that memory, more than money or power, is what keeps him human. She sent a message to the wrong man. He opened it and found a part of himself he thought was dead. In a city of power and violence, sometimes quiet justice begins with a single text. And sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do is care. 6 months later, Tessa's world looks different. The apartment above the liquor store is gone. She's in a small 2-bedroom now. Nothing fancy, but clean, with windows that actually open and heat that works through winter. Micah has his own room. Real furniture instead of thrift store cast-offs. She still works at the Chrome Grill, still pours coffee and takes orders from truckers who don't remember her name. but the weight on her shoulders feels lighter. The panic that used to wake her at 3 a.m. doesn't come as often. She hasn't seen Yuri since the night he brought Micah home, but she feels him sometimes. In the car that parks outside when her shift ends late. In the way certain problems just vanish before they become disasters. In the quiet protection that wraps around her life like invisible armor. Then, on a Thursday afternoon, a woman walks into the diner. Mid-40s, expensive clothes, trying to look casual. Designer sunglasses pushed up into perfectly styled hair. She sits in Tessa's section and orders green tea, nothing else. Tessa brings the tea, sets it down carefully. The woman looks up. Her eyes are sharp, assessing. "You're Tessa Rowe." It's not a question. Tessa's stomach tightens. "Do I know you?" "No, but I know you." The woman pulls out her phone, shows Tessa a photo. "This is my brother, Yuri Han." The air leaves the room. The woman in the photo looks younger, happier, standing beside Yuri at what looks like a family gathering. He's smiling, actually smiling, before whatever darkness found him. Tessa sits down without being invited. "What do you want?" "To thank you." The woman, Yuri's sister, slides the phone away. "My brother doesn't let people in. Hasn't in years. Not since." She trails off, then starts again. "He's been different lately. Quieter, but not in the bad way. In the way that means he's thinking about things besides survival." "I don't understand." "You made him remember he's human." The sister's voice softens. "That's not a small thing. That's everything." Tessa shakes her head. "I didn't do anything. He saved my life. Saved my son. I'm the one who owes. You let him save you. That's what he needed." The sister stands, leaving money on the table even though the tea is untouched. "He won't reach out again. It's safer that way. But I wanted you to know you mattered. More than you'll ever understand." She walks out before Tessa can respond. Tessa sits there, staring at the money on the table, trying to process what just happened. At home that night, she opens the drawer where she keeps the burner phone. Hasn't touched it in months. The battery is dead. She plugs it in, waits for it to power up. One message, sent 3 days ago. "If you ever need anything at all, you know how to reach me. E." Tessa stares at the screen. Her thumb hovers over the reply button. She thinks about everything that's happened. The money, the protection, the violence, the cost of being connected to someone like him. Then she thinks about Micah, asleep in the next room. Safe, healthy, alive because Yuri walked into the rain and didn't come back clean. She types slowly. "I hope you're okay. I hope you find peace. Thank you for giving me a chance to breathe." She hits send before she can second-guess it. 3 dots appear immediately. He's online, waiting. The response comes through. "You gave me something too. Don't forget that. Nothing else. No promises. No plans. Just acknowledgement that their lives touched and both of them changed." Tessa turns off the phone, puts it back in the drawer. Some connections don't need constant contact to matter. Some people save you once and the echo lasts forever. She thought their story was over. But some bonds don't break. They just transform into something quieter, deeper, and impossible to define. The question is, can two people from different worlds stay apart when the connection between them refuses to die? Winter hits Chicago like a fist. Tessa wraps Micah in layers before heading to daycare, her breath fogging in the freezing morning air. He's walking now, babbling nonsense, words that almost sound like language. Growing so fast she can barely keep up. The chrome grill is warm. Keisha works the morning shift with her, both of them moving through the familiar routine. Coffee, eggs, toast, repeat. Then the news breaks. It's all over the TV mounted in the corner. The volume is low, but the headlines scroll across the bottom of the screen in stark white letters. Major crime syndicate dismantled in overnight raids. 12 arrested. Millions in assets seized. Tessa stops mid-pour. Coffee spills over the edge of the cup, burning her hand. She doesn't feel it. The screen shows footage of police leading men in handcuffs out of expensive buildings. Federal agents carrying boxes of evidence. Reporters shouting questions that don't get answered. And then, for just 3 seconds, the camera catches someone in the background. Yuri Han, being escorted by 2 FBI agents. His hands aren't cuffed. His face shows nothing. But Tessa knows that look now. the mask he wears when everything is falling apart inside. Her phone buzzes. The burner. She hasn't carried it in weeks, but grabbed it this morning for reasons she couldn't explain. Unknown number. Not Yuri's contact. Someone else. He protected you one last time. Made a deal with the feds. Gave them everyone except the people who mattered. You're safe. Stay safe. This number will self-destruct after this message. Tessa reads it 3 times before it registers. He didn't get arrested. He made a deal. Gave up his empire, his power, his entire operation. In exchange for what? Immunity? Witness protection? Freedom? The message deletes itself while she's staring at it. The screen goes blank. Keisha appears beside her. Girl, you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. I'm fine. Tessa wipes the spilled coffee, her hands shaking. Just tired. But she's not tired. She's terrified. Because Yuri just burned down everything he built, and she has a horrible feeling she knows why. That night, another message comes through. Her real phone this time. A photo. No words. It's a picture of a small house. Somewhere rural, trees in the background, mountains visible in the distance. Peaceful, isolated, safe. And standing on the porch, barely visible in the frame, is a figure in a dark coat. Tessa's breath catches. The photo deletes after 10 seconds. Like it was never there. But the message is clear. He's alive. He's out. And he's somewhere far away from Chicago, from the violence, from everything that almost destroyed them both. Tessa sets down her phone and walks to Micah's room. Watches him sleep, his chest rising and falling, peaceful and unaware. Yuri gave up his empire to keep her safe. Made a deal that probably cost him everything except his life. And now he's gone. Vanished into whatever witness protection or exile the feds arranged. She'll never see him again. Never thank him properly. Never tell him that he saved her in more ways than he'll ever know. But maybe that's the point. Some heroes don't get parades, don't get recognition. They just make the hard choices, pay the price, and disappear into the quiet spaces where redemption lives. Tessa closes her eyes and whispers into the dark. Thank you for everything. I hope you find peace. The words float into nothing. No one hears them except her. But somewhere in a house surrounded by mountains and silence, maybe, just maybe, a man who used to rule a city finally learns how to rest. He gave up everything to protect her. Now he's gone, disappeared into a life she'll never see. But his sacrifice gave her something priceless, a future without fear. And sometimes, the greatest love is the one that walks away so the other person can finally breathe. 2 years pass like water, finding its level. Tessa finishes her nursing degree. Night classes, online courses, every spare moment between work and raising Micah. The diploma arrives in the mail on a Tuesday, and she cries holding it, thinking about all the times she almost gave up. She gets hired at Cook County Hospital, pediatric unit. The work is hard, the hours brutal, but she's good at it. Knows how to talk to scared parents, how to calm crying children, how to be the steady presence people need when everything feels like chaos. Micah is 3 now, talking in full sentences, asking questions about everything. He doesn't remember the apartment above the liquor store. Doesn't remember the nights his mother sobbed over an empty bank account. His world is stable, safe, normal. Exactly what Yuri gave his life away to create. Tessa doesn't think about him every day anymore, but she thinks about him enough. When she sees news about crime rates dropping in certain Chicago neighborhoods. When she passes the building where his office used to be, now converted into luxury condos. When Micah asks about his father and she tells him the truth, that his dad wasn't ready to be a parent, but someone else made sure they'd be okay. She never mentions Yuri by name, never tells anyone the full story. Some truths are too dangerous to speak out loud. Then, on a spring morning 3 years after the raids, Tessa takes Micah to the park. It's one of those perfect Chicago days, sun bright, breeze warm, the whole city breathing relief after a long winter. Micah runs toward the playground, and Tessa follows, coffee in hand, watching him climb and laugh with other kids. She sits on a bench, pulls out her phone to check messages. A man sits down beside her. She doesn't look up immediately. just senses the presence, assumes it's another parent. Then he speaks. He's gotten big. Tessa's heart stops. She turns slowly, and there he is. Yuri Han, but different. No expensive suit, just jeans and a plain jacket. His hair is longer. There's gray at his temples that wasn't there before. He looks older, tired, but somehow more at peace than she's ever seen him. Tessa can't finish the sentence. Can't process that he's real, sitting here after years of silence. I know I shouldn't be here. Yuri watches Micah play, his expression unreadable. The deal was I stay gone. No contact. New life, new name, permanent exile. Then why? Because I had to see. His voice is quiet, almost vulnerable. Had to know you were okay, that it mattered. Tessa's eyes burn. You gave up everything. Your business, your power, your entire life. For us, not just for you. Yuri finally looks at her. For me too. I was dying in that world, becoming something I hated. You reminded me there was another way to live. They sit in silence, watching Micah swing higher and higher, his laughter carrying across the playground. I can't stay, Yuri says after a while. I just needed to see you both. Needed to know the sacrifice was worth it. It was... Tessa's voice breaks. You gave us everything. A life, a future, safety. We're okay because of you. Yuri nods, stands slowly. Tessa grabs his hand before he can walk away. Will I ever see you again? He looks at her hand in his. The first real contact they've had in years. Then he gently pulls away. No, the word is final, honest. But you'll always be the reason I walked away. The proof that I was more than what I became. He starts to leave, then pauses. Take care of him. Take care of yourself. I will. Yuri walks away, hands his pockets, just another stranger in a crowded park. Tessa watches until he disappears into the crowd. Her vision blurred with tears she won't let fall until Micah isn't watching. That night, after Micah is asleep, she opens the drawer where she keeps the old burner phone. It hasn't worked in years. Battery dead. No way to charge it anymore. She holds it anyway. A relic of a time when a wrong text message changed 2 lives forever. She thinks about writing something. A journal entry. A letter he'll never read. But words feel inadequate. So she just whispers into the quiet apartment. Thank you for showing me that kindness exists even in dark places. For proving that monsters can choose to be human. For giving me the courage to build a life worth living. The words flowed into silence. Somewhere in America, in a small town where no one knows his name, a man who used to rule a city sits on his porch and watches the stars. He thinks about a woman he saved, a baby he protected, the empire he burned down to give them peace. And for the first time in his life, he doesn't regret a single choice. Because power is temporary, money is meaningless, but the knowledge that you change someone's life for the better, that lasts forever. They met by accident, connected through violence, and saved each other in ways neither could have predicted. Their story doesn't end with a reunion. It ends with 2 people living better lives because they were brave enough to care. And sometimes that's the most powerful ending of all. If this story moved you, if you believe in second chances and the power of one kind act to change everything, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We have more stories that will remind you why humanity is worth fighting for. Drop a comment telling us what this story meant to you. Your words might inspire someone who needs hope today. Share this with someone who believes in redemption, in kindness, in the quiet heroes who save lives without asking for credit. Until next time, remember, you never know whose life you might change with a single moment of compassion. Stay strong, stay kind, and never stop believing that even the darkest hearts can find their way back to light.